Chase Business Premier. I signed up for this credit card with an 850 credit score almost 2 years ago. It's been about a year and maybe 7 months. Every year you pay $195. I'm not sure why 195, but you just might as well say $200. This credit card does not really offer a whole lot of great features. The selling point is 2.5% on any purchases you make that are business over $5,000. 2.5%. I had that on my first credit card in college. It's like 2%. Every other feature is in relationship to 2% on all purchases. Again, very low end. The card does offer what is considered to be phone protection, cell phone protection, but there are positions that you need to pay before you can actually receive any phone company benefit or phone company reimbursement benefit. I'm not exactly sure why we sell the product as if though it's secured when it's not secured, because the problem is it's a misleading circumstance. A person's purchasing the card thinking that they're getting X, but they're really getting Y. This particular card also has probably its best features being travel, even though this is not a card that I use for travel. But it has the unfortunate circumstance of not allowing the points that you earn to be used as ultimate rewards points in the way that you can also use reports for travel in your personal credit cards. So why $195 for a credit card that doesn't even let you transfer points for certain hotels? At any rate, the card is what it is. We always have the option to not apply or cancel. As you know, with Chase, it's a very, very finicky process that people go through to apply for their card. As mentioned, I've got an 850 credit score I've had for almost my entire life. And when I applied for this card, it immediately went to, oh, well, we don't have an answer yet. We'll get back to you in the mail within 10 days. Now, everybody knows when you get those kinds of remarks based on all the research that I've learned over the years, it usually means they've denied you. Well, this card wasn't denied because my thing was, I'm not going to play that little silly game that I hear people do where they get denied, or if they get rejected, they're on the phone begging and pleading. I'm not begging anybody for anything. The bottom line is my status speaks for itself, and I should not have to do that. So my thing was, I didn't do anything. So for 2 months, this letter I had, they never basically responded back to say one way or the other whether the card was approved or rejected, until finally I got a letter in the mail, and they were asking me about what I wanted to do with the card. And I was like, oh, well, this is weird, because when I applied for it online, it says that you all needed to do some additional review. Well, what the additional review was, they called me about a week after I applied for it. Of course, I'm flying, I'm doing business, I'm taking care of my daily business activity. Did not get the call because I think at the time I was on a plane. So you know how that process works. You're pretty much dead until you land. And basically, they said they called to try to verify. They said they needed to know my mother's mailing address. mating name. Ridiculous question. You shouldn't even be given to anybody in any kind of personal situation, because that's how criminals get into your private information. That's why so many people's accounts are robbed, and you hear about all these issues with crypto coin and people stealing and opening credit cards and everybody's personal names. Well, they got all your information. I mean, the newest scheme that I've heard out there recently is people calling you up. They just want you to say hello. Who is this? So they're capturing your voice so that they can use that once they get your information to bypass security systems that basically use voice recognition for your voice to get into your accounts. That's a huge problem now. And in my opinion, I always kind of felt that, well, we shouldn't be using that kind of information anyway. At any rate, the real reason why I am making this video today is because I've had this card almost 2 years. It's a business card. Basically, I thought this card was designed to separate my business from my personal. I was told when I applied for this, oh yeah, we check your personal credit and all of that. You'll get a mark on your report. They did that. They checked my personal credit. I ended up with a remark on my report. Closing out my previous story, they did tell me on the phone that that was the only thing that they needed was my mother's mailing address. That's why they didn't give me an immediate approval. You ever heard anything so ridiculous? But at any rate, moving along, I'm using the card. I don't know. I've probably spent $300,000-$400,000 on this card already since I've had it. And basically, the bottom line is, all of a sudden, I get a call from my credit monitoring company saying, well, somebody's tampering with your credit. Well, obviously, they're doing their job. I mean, for the $300 I'm paying them for that service, they called, we went over it. Turns out it was this company. And what happened was, they reported, I've got a $50,000 credit limit on this card. They report to the credit bureaus, my personal credit bureau, my information as for this card as a personal card on my credit report, and basically telling the world that I've got a credit card not with the correct credit amount. And this card has never been reported on my personal credit report, but they report my credit card number to my personal credit report after almost 2 years of not doing it. And they report it with the wrong balance. So my credit report balance is $50,000. There is no current balance on the card, so there's nothing owed. But then they also take one of the high numbers that I used on my business card. I don't know, $1,400, $1,500 high balance or whatever have you that I made. I think the last high balance one, I think that was the highest one, or one of the highest of the latest or most recent ones. And they put that on my credit report. And at first, when they asked me about it, when the monitoring company asked me about it, I told them, I have no idea. I don't have any credit cards for $3,500 with this bank. Well, it turns out we call the bank, and I mean, if you've got this card, you know how very minor responses you receive. You know, if you're sophisticated, educated, and just highly intelligent, talking to the rep or whoever it is you end up with the phone, it's almost like they're sending this stuff to kindergarten, because the answers that you get are just ridiculous. My first question is, after I go through that multitude of what they call security, which is really worthless, I'm talking to this person and I'm explaining to them what's going on. So I've got this credit card. My balance is, I've got a credit limit of $50,000. It's showing up on my personal credit report as a $3,400 credit limit. No, it wasn't $3,400. It was sort of like, I want to say it was like $2,900. $2,900 credit limit. It's not my card. I don't know anything about it. But they've got my number listed. And I'm trying to talk to them and tell them, hey, listen, I think this might be some potential fraud or whatever have you. They're just completely disinterested, disengaged, and giving me these juvenile responses. Oh, well, um, we've had a couple of problems on the 28th billing periods with people's personal credit card, business credit card numbers going to the credit companies, the 3 credit companies or whatever. And I told him, I says, well, man, my billing period didn't end on the 28th. My billing period ended on like the 6th of the month or whatever have you. Well, I don't know what to tell you, but I know we had some problems with people's accounts that ended on the 28th. So I asked to speak to a supervisor. I mean, I didn't want to waste too much more time of her valuable time, and I definitely didn't want to lose any more of my valuable time. So I get a supervisor after listening to some crazy music for about 20 minutes. This person comes in. He's just as disinterested, if not more, than the person I just spoke to. And I said, did you all have some kind of breach or something? I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on, because if that's the case, I need to close this card down, whatever. This guy tells me, he says, oh, well, when you apply for the card, basically, we do personal credit checks, and this is not a business card. This is a personal card, and it's supposed to be reported to your credit bureau. I said, sir, when I applied for this card, I was told it was a business card. The application said it was business card. The process went through a business process, and it has never showed up on my personal credit report. The gentleman says, oh, well, yeah, but they probably just started adding it. I said, well, that just seems kind of weird, don't you think? After 2 years, almost 2 years, all of a sudden it just pops up in the midst of you all having all the other problems that you're having. And his response, he says, well, I'm just trying to tell you what's going on or whatever have you. I said, sir, are you listening to what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the amount that's being reported to my credit report, my personal credit report, is not my card. It's not my information. I don't have any $2,900 or $3,400 credit cards. I wouldn't even have, if you all had offered me $2,900 or $3,400 for a credit card, a business credit card or personal, I would have probably told you keep the card. I mean, I don't need that. A kid uses that, not a grown person like myself. So basically, his remark was, he says, well, I'm trying to give you the information or whatever have you. And I says, well, sir, I'm trying to tell you that I need this information reviewed because this is not my information. I don't have a $2,900 credit card. He's not even listening to that because he's programmed to basically give you these juvenile responses. He ends up telling me, he says, well, sir, what you can do is just call the 3 credit bureaus and just file a complaint. I'm like, why do I need to call the 3 credit bureaus if this is your card that you issued? And thank God I've got an 850 credit score, because, to get a phone call to say, hey, listen, somebody's messing with your credit, and I open up my credit report and I see that there's a brand new account on my account that I didn't apply for. And I'm calling the company directly. I'm using the card number, the number that's on the back of the card, and this person tells me there's nothing he can do. Call the 3 credit reporting agencies. Why am I making this video? Beware. Beware. You're paying $200 for a credit card, and this is the kind of responses you get. Does that sound outrageous or not? I should have went on and took the time and canceled this card when I, at the end of the first year, and just been done with it. And now here I am, 4 or 5 months, 6 months into a new credit card cycle, paying these people another $200, and now I got information on my credit card about this particular credit card that's not even mine, and they are disinterested. So by all means, beware. Do not, I repeat, beware. Thank you for listening to my YouTube channel.